Ever have one of those mornings where you think you're living a normal life, and then reality slaps you in the face like a wet fish? Well, let me tell you about the day my peaceful fishing routine turned into a war zone. I'm walking down to Clear Lake at 5:30 in the morning, coffee thermos in one hand, tackle box in the other. The mist is rolling off the water like something out of a postcard. This is my sanctuary, you know? The one place where the world makes sense and Karen Mitchell can't reach me with her homeowner association nonsense. But as I round the bend toward my favorite spot, I hear splashing. Not the gentle lapping of waves, actual splashing, like someone's thrashing around in the water. And that's when I see her. Karen is standing waist-deep in Clear Lake, wearing a bright yellow wetsuit that makes her look like an oversized banana. She's got a fishing net in her hands, and she's scooping up fish like she's harvesting a crop. Dead fish are floating belly up all around her, creating this nauseating carpet of silver and rot. "Morning, Dave," she calls out cheerfully, like she's watering her garden instead of committing ecological genocide. "Emergency homeowner association meeting last night. We voted. The lake needs immediate biological cleaning. Fish carry diseases, you know." 3 guys and waiters are helping her, dragging nets through the shallows. The smell hits me then. That sickly sweet stench of dying fish mixed with whatever chemicals they've dumped in my lake. My lake. The place where I taught my son Tyler to cast a line. Where I scattered my dad's ashes 5 years ago. Where I've been coming every morning for the last decade, just trying to find some peace after my divorce turned my life upside down. "What the hell are you doing?" My voice comes out rougher than I intended. Karen straightens up, water dripping from her net. "Language, Dave. We're protecting the community from contamination. The fish were diseasing the water supply." She gestures to her helpers. "These are certified environmental specialists. One of the specialists looks like he's barely old enough to shave, and the other is wearing muddy boots that have never seen a certification office. But they're recording everything on their phones, cameras pointed right at me." "You can't just kill every fish in the lake," I say, setting down my gear. My hands are shaking, not from cold, but from the kind of rage that builds up slowly and then explodes all at once. "Actually, we can." Karen holds up a laminated document. "Emergency Powers Clause, Section 12B of the Revised Homeowner Association Guidelines, passed by majority vote. I know for a fact there wasn't any meeting last night. I would have gotten notice. I always get notice, even for the stupid ones about mailbox paint colors and proper garbage can placement. I never got notice of any meeting. It'd check your email." Karen's smile has that razor edge I've learned to recognize. It's the same smile she wore when she fined Mrs. Peterson for her rose bushes being 2 inches too tall. The water around her feet is thick with floating fish, bass, bluegill, perch. Some are still twitching. A few kids used to come here with their grandparents, learning to bait hooks and cast lines just like Tyler did. Have you ever watched something you love die right in front of you, and there's nothing you can do to stop it? That's what this felt like. My sanctuary, my peace, my connection to my dad and my son, all floating dead in chemically poisoned water. "This is insane," I whisper. But Karen just keeps smiling, and her camera-wielding helpers keep recording, and somewhere in the back of my mind, I realize this isn't about fish at all. This is about power, and she's just declared war. The morning mist suddenly feels less like peace and more like the smoke of battle. The chemical smell follows me all the way home, clinging to my clothes like a guilty secret. I'm barely through my front door when my phone starts buzzing. Tyler's name flashes on the screen, and for a second, I feel that familiar warmth, my kid calling to check in. College has been good to him, made him more confident, more sure of himself. "Hey son, you're up early." "Dad, what the hell?" Tyler's voice hits me like a punch to the gut. He sounds angry, disappointed. "I just got a Facebook message with a video attached. Tell me this isn't you." My blood turns to ice water. "What video?" "Hold on, I'm sending it to you now." My phone pings. The video file loads, and there I am on Clear Lake this morning. But it's not the scene I remember. The editing makes it look like I'm the aggressor, storming up to Karen while she's peacefully working in the water. They cut out the dead fish, the chemical smell, her smug explanations. What they kept was me saying, "What the hell are you doing?" in that rough, threatening voice. They kept me towering over her in the water, my fists clenched at my sides. They kept the moment when I stepped toward her, and she backed away with genuine-looking fear on her face. The caption reads, "Local man threatens elderly woman trying to clean lake. Disturbing behavior from Clear Lake resident." 50,000 views in 6 hours. Dad, you there? I'm reading the comments, each one a knife twist. This guy looks dangerous. Someone should call the police. What's wrong with people these days? Tyler, it wasn't like that. She was killing the fish. She was... Dad, you look like a psycho in this video. My roommate showed it to me. He recognized you from when he visited last Christmas. Tyler's voice drops to that disappointed tone that cuts deeper than anger. I'm getting calls from friends asking if my dad is some kind of nutcase. I sink into my kitchen chair, still staring at the screen. The video has been shared 847 times. The Facebook page that posted it, Clear Lake Community Watch, has 12,000 followers I've never heard of. Son, listen to me. Karen poisoned the lake this morning. She killed every fish in there with some kind of chemical treatment. She had guys filming everything from the start, waiting for me to react. That's not what this looks like, Dad. And he's right. It doesn't look like that at all. To anyone watching this video, I'm just some angry old guy harassing a woman who's trying to help the community. You ever felt completely helpless? Like someone's taken your story and twisted it into something ugly, and now everyone believes the twisted version instead of the truth? I'm staring at my reflection in the phone screen when another notification pops up. A friend request from someone called Clear Lake Truth Teller with a message, "We know where you live, fish killer." My phone number must be somewhere in those comments because it starts ringing immediately. Unknown number. Hello? Is this Dave Coleman, the guy who threatened that nice lady at the lake? I hang up. It rings again. Different number. Listen here, you piece of... I shut the phone off completely. Tyler's still talking, but his voice sounds distant now, like he's calling from another planet. Dad, maybe you should apologize. Just post something online, explain your side. She set me up, Tyler. This was planned. Maybe. But right now, you look like the bad guy. And I'm at college trying to explain to everyone that my father isn't some kind of... He trails off. Some kind of what? Silence stretches between us like a canyon. I gotta go, Dad. I have class. The line goes dead, and I'm sitting in my kitchen with a silent phone and the taste of bile in my throat. Outside my window, I can see Mrs. Peterson walking her dog past my house. When she spots me at the window, she quickly looks away and hurries her pace. Karen didn't just poison my lake this morning. She poisoned my life. 2 days later, I'm standing in line at Morrison's Market, trying to buy groceries like a normal human being. The cashier is Julie Patterson. Been checking me out here for 3 years. Always friendly, always asks about Tyler. Today, she won't even look at me. I place my items on the belt. Milk, bread, coffee. Basic survival stuff. Julie scans everything in silence, her movements sharp and efficient. No small talk. No, "How's your morning, Dave?" Nothing. Behind me, I hear whispers. That's him, the guy from the video. I heard he threatened to blow up the dam if they didn't let him fish. I turn around. The woman behind me, Sarah Thompson, lives 2 streets over, immediately looks at her shoes. Her 8-year-old daughter tugs on her sleeve. "Mommy, is that the scary man?" Sarah scoops up the kid and moves to another checkout line, abandoning a full cart of groceries. Julie finally speaks, her voice flat as roadkill. $47.50. I hand her my credit card. Our fingers don't touch when she takes it. "Julie, you know me. You know I'm not..." "Have a nice day, sir." She emphasizes the "sir" like it's a curse word. Walking to my truck, I spot 3 more people I recognize. The Hendersons from Oak Street cross to the other side of the parking lot when they see me coming. Bill Martinez, who I helped move furniture last summer, suddenly finds his car keys very interesting. My phone, back on because I need to function in the world, buzzes constantly. Unknown numbers, angry messages. Someone found my address and posted it online with a photo of my house. When I get home, there's a pizza delivery car in my driveway. The driver looks confused. "You order 4 large pizzas?" "No." Address says Dave Coleman, this house number. Someone ordered $40 worth of food to my address as a prank. The driver's already paid for it, waiting for reimbursement from a customer who doesn't exist. I end up paying for pizzas I didn't order, just to get this kid out of here before my neighbors start filming. Inside, I check the video again. The view count has doubled. Someone shared it in a local Facebook group called Clear Lake Community Safety with the caption, "This man lives among us. Be aware." The comments section is a nightmare. People are sharing stories about me that never happened. Someone claims I screamed at their daughter for riding her bike too close to the lake. Another person swears I once threw rocks at a family having a picnic. None of it is true, but when 50 people are telling the same lie, it starts to sound like fact. I'm scrolling through this digital assassination when someone knocks on my door. Through the peephole, I see Marcus Rivera, my fishing buddy for the past 15 years, the guy who helped me paint my deck, who came to Tyler's high school graduation, who brought me casserole after my divorce when I was living on cereal and self-pity. I open the door, and Marcus looks uncomfortable. He's not meeting my eyes, just staring at his boots. "Hey, Dave." Marcus, thank God, someone who knows me. The relief in my voice embarrasses me, but I can't help it. "You saw the video, right? You know that's not how it happened." "Yeah, I saw it." He shifts his weight from foot to foot. "Listen, man, I need to talk to you about something." Something in his tone makes my stomach clench. "Karen came to see me yesterday. She's got a lawyer now. They're building some kind of case about you being a threat to the community." "Marcus, you know that's bullshit." "I know. I told her that." He finally looks at me and I see something that makes my chest tight. "But Dave, she offered me $5,000 to testify that you said some things." The world tilts sideways. "What kind of things?" Marcus runs his hand through his graying hair. "She wants me to say you threatened to blow up the dam if they didn't stop interfering with your fishing. That you were talking about making them pay, no matter what it took. $5,000. Marcus went through a messy divorce 2 years ago. His ex-wife took half of everything, and he's been struggling to keep up with alimony payments. His truck needs new transmission. His roof is leaking. $5,000 would solve a lot of problems." "Marcus, tell me you didn't..." "I haven't said yes yet, but Dave..." His voice cracks a little. "I'm behind on everything. The bank's been calling about my mortgage. I don't know what else to do." Have you ever watched your best friend wrestle with betraying you for money? It's like watching someone drown in slow motion, knowing you can't throw them a rope because you're drowning too. The worst part is, I understand. In his position, with his debts, his desperation, would I be strong enough to say no? Marcus is still standing on my doorstep, waiting for me to say something, anything. But what do you say when your oldest friend is considering selling you out for grocery money? "How long do I have?" I ask. She wants an answer by tomorrow morning. There's supposed to be some kind of hearing with the sheriff's department. She's pushing for a restraining order, maybe more. The pizza boxes are still sitting on my kitchen counter, evidence of how far this thing has already spiraled. Random strangers are pranking me, my own son won't talk to me, and now Karen's buying witnesses like she's shopping for groceries. Marcus, I need you to listen to me very carefully. I never said anything about blowing up anything. I've never threatened anyone in my life. You know that. "I know." He looks miserable. "But Dave, she's got documentation, photos, video evidence of you being aggressive. She says there are other witnesses who heard you making threats." Other witnesses, more lies, more people willing to say whatever Karen wants them to say. After Marcus leaves, I sit in my kitchen staring at those damn pizza boxes and trying to figure out how my life became someone else's chess game. The smell of pepperoni makes me sick. That's when my phone rings. Sheriff Davis. "Dave, need you to come down to the station. Just some questions about an incident at the lake." "What kind of questions?" "Better we do this in person. Can you be here in an hour?" It's not really a request. The sheriff's office smells like burnt coffee and disappointment. Davis has known me for 8 years. He was the one who responded when someone broke into my garage back in 2019. We've talked at community barbecues, compared fishing stories, argued about baseball teams. Today he's treating me like a stranger. "Dave, I'm going to be straight with you. We've got multiple complaints. The video from the lake, witness statements about threatening behavior, and now allegations about terrorist threats." "Terrorist threats? Are you kidding me?" Davis slides a folder across the table. Inside are printed Facebook comments, screenshots of the viral video, and what looks like an official witness statement. Marcus's signature is at the bottom. My chest feels like someone's standing on it. He couldn't even wait until tomorrow morning. The money was too tempting, or the pressure was too much, or maybe he just decided I wasn't worth the loyalty. According to this statement, you told Marcus Rivera that you'd make them pay no matter what it took, and specifically mentioned explosive devices near the dam. That's a lie. Dave, I've got to ask, do you own any firearms, explosives, anything we should know about? The question hits me like a slap. Sheriff Davis, who knows I'm a retired accountant who volunteers at the church fish fry, is asking if I'm building bombs in my basement. Of course not, John, you know me. I thought I did. His voice is tired. But this video, these statements, I got people calling the office every hour asking when we're going to arrest the crazy guy who's threatening to blow things up. Through the window, I can see a news van pulling into the parking lot. Channel 7, with a reporter I recognize from the morning show. They're here for me, aren't they? Davis follows my gaze and sighs. Karen Mitchell called them, said she was afraid for her life, wanted to warn the community about escalating threats. The reporter is a young woman with perfect hair and ambitious eyes. She's probably thrilled to cover a potential domestic terrorism story instead of another city council meeting about potholes. Am I under arrest? Not yet, but Dave, I gotta tell you, stay away from Karen Mitchell, stay away from the lake. Don't give me a reason to come looking for you. Walking out of that police station with cameras rolling and reporters shouting questions feels like being marched to the gallows. The reporter thrusts a microphone at my face. Mr. Coleman, do you have any comment about the terrorist threats against Clear Lake residents? I keep walking, but she follows me to my truck. Is it true you've been planning to damage the dam? What do you say to families who are afraid for their safety? I climb into my truck without saying a word, but I know it doesn't matter. My silence will become part of the story. Suspected terrorist refuses to comment. Local man remains defiant after threats. Driving home, I pass the lake where this all started. There's crime scene tape around the shoreline now, and official signs warning people to stay away from contaminated water. Karen turned my sanctuary into a crime scene, my best friend into a Judas, and my life into a cable news nightmare. But the worst part? Looking at those police barriers, I realize she's not done yet. This was just the opening move. The arrest happens at 6:15 in the morning, right when the commuter traffic is heaviest on Maple Street. I'm drinking coffee on my front porch, watching the sunrise and trying to pretend my life isn't completely destroyed, when 3 police cars pull up with their lights flashing. Sheriff Davis climbs out looking like he hasn't slept in days. Dave Coleman, you're under arrest for making terroristic threats. The handcuffs are cold against my wrists. Mrs. Peterson is walking her dog across the street, phone out, recording everything. The Thompson kids are pressed against their living room window, watching the crazy man get taken away. But here's the kicker. Karen is standing at the end of my driveway with 2 news crews, giving an interview while I'm being loaded into the back of a police car. This man has been terrorizing our peaceful community for weeks, she's saying into the camera. I tried to handle this through proper channels, but when someone threatens to blow up infrastructure, we have to protect our families. She's wearing a conservative blue dress and has tears in her eyes. Actual tears. The performance is Oscar-worthy. From the police car window, I can see Tyler's car pulling up. He must have driven all night from college when he heard about the arrest. My son is 22 years old, and he's watching his father get arrested on live television. The look on his face breaks something inside me that I didn't know could still break. At the county jail, they take my belt, my shoelaces, my wallet with Tyler's college graduation photo. The booking officer reads me my rights like he's ordering lunch. Routine, mechanical, just another day processing another crazy person. It's phone call, he says, sliding an ancient cordless phone across the metal table. I call Tyler. He answers on the first ring. Dad, what the hell is happening? I'm in jail, son. The words taste like poison. They're saying I made terrorist threats. Did you? The question hits me like a physical blow. My own son, the kid I taught to ride a bike, helped with homework, drove to soccer practice for 6 years, is asking if I'm a terrorist. No, Tyler, I never threatened anyone. The news is saying you plan to blow up the dam, that you've been stockpiling weapons. Stockpiling weapons? I own a rusty toolbox and a fishing tackle collection. The most dangerous thing in my house is a 10-year-old lawnmower that barely starts. Tyler, listen to me. Dad, I can't do this right now. My friends are calling, my professors are asking questions. There are reporters trying to interview people about the terrorist's son. The line goes quiet except for his breathing. I'll call you when I figure this out, he finally says. The dial tone is the loneliest sound in the world. They set bail at $50,000, more than I have, more than I can borrow, more than anyone would lend to an accused terrorist. So, I sit in a concrete cell with a drunk driver and a guy who punched a parking meter, watching my life collapse in real time on the cell block television. The news coverage is relentless. Local man arrested in terror plot. Clear Lake residents fear for their safety. They're interviewing neighbors I barely know, letting them speculate about my mental state and dangerous tendencies. Marcus appears on Channel 7, looking uncomfortable but sticking to his story. He was angry about the fishing restrictions, Marcus tells the reporter, started talking about making them pay, about explosive solutions to his problems. I thought he was just venting, but now... The betrayal hurts worse than the handcuffs did. But then something happens that changes everything. On the third day, while I'm eating mystery meat off a plastic tray and wondering if I'll spend the next 10 years in prison, my cellmate Carlos says something that stops me cold. Yo, fish man, you got mail. It's not mail, it's a manila envelope that was slipped under the door during shift change. No return address, no postmark, just my name written in block letters. Inside is a USB drive and a note from a friend. Listen carefully. The guard lets me use the computer in the law library for 30 minutes. I plug in the drive, and suddenly I'm listening to Karen's voice on a phone recording. Marcus, it doesn't matter what he actually said about the dam. What matters is what you tell them he said about explosives. The recording quality is terrible anyway. Who's to say exactly what words were used? There's a pause, then Marcus. I don't know, Karen. This feels wrong. 10,000, Marcus, not 5. $10,000, and your money troubles disappear forever. Just stick to the script we practiced. Then a second recording, newer, clearer. Is everything ready for tomorrow? The reporters will be there at exactly 6:15. Make sure the arrest looks dramatic. I want it on the morning news cycle. She didn't just frame me, and she choreographed the whole damn thing. Have you ever held evidence that could destroy your enemy, but you're locked in a cage and nobody believes a word you say? That's power. And for the first time since this nightmare started, I'm about to grab some of it back. The law library computer becomes my lifeline to the outside world. I upload the recordings to a secure email account and send copies to my lawyer, a public defender who looks like she's barely out of law school but has fire in her eyes when she hears Karen's voice admitting to perjury. This changes everything, she says during our meeting in the tiny consultation room. But we need to be smart about how we use it. Smart, right, because I've been so brilliant at handling Karen Mitchell up to this point. The bail hearing is scheduled for Friday morning. Karen shows up in that same blue dress, surrounded by half the neighborhood association and 2 more news crews. She's holding court in the hallway, playing the terrified victim one more time. I just want my community to be safe, she tells Channel 7. This man has disrupted our peace, threatened our infrastructure, and now he's trying to intimidate witnesses from his jail cell. But when Judge Morrison calls for witness testimony, my lawyer stands up with a laptop and a smile that could cut glass. Your Honor, I'd like to present evidence that this case is built on perjured testimony and prosecutorial misconduct. Karen's face goes white when she hears her own voice filling the courtroom. Marcus, it doesn't matter what he actually said about the dam. What matters is what you tell them he said about explosives. The recording is crystal clear. Every word, every pause, every breath of her conspiracy to frame me for terrorism. The courtroom erupts. Marcus, sitting in the gallery, looks like he wants to crawl under his chair and disappear. Furthermore, my lawyer continues, we have evidence that Mrs. Mitchell coordinated with media outlets to ensure maximum publicity for Mr. Coleman's arrest, turning our justice system into a publicity stunt. She plays the second recording, Karen scheduling my arrest like she's planning a dinner party. Judge Morrison's face could freeze hell over. Mrs. Mitchell, approach the bench, now. Karen walks forward on unsteady legs, her lawyer whispering frantically in her ear. But there's no explaining away her own voice plotting to destroy an innocent man's life. All charges against Mr. Coleman are dismissed, Judge Morrison announces. Mrs. Mitchell, you'll be hearing from the district attorney's office about perjury charges, evidence tampering, and filing false police reports. The gavel comes down like thunder. Walking out of that courthouse as a free man feels like being reborn. The reporters who were calling me a terrorist 3 days ago are now shoving microphones in Karen's face, asking about her elaborate frame job. But freedom doesn't fix everything. Tyler is waiting by my truck, arms crossed, face unreadable. It's Dad. Son. We stand there for a moment, two men who've been through hell, trying to figure out how to talk to each other again. I'm sorry I doubted you, he says finally. I should have known you'd never... You had no reason to believe me over a viral video and news reports. I get it. No, I should have known because you're my father, because I've known you my whole life. His voice cracks a little. I let strangers on the internet tell me who you were. We hug right there in the courthouse parking lot, and I don't care who's watching or recording. My son believes in me again. That's worth more than any legal victory. But as we're driving home, Tyler points out something that makes my blood run cold. Dad, look at the lake. Clear Lake is surrounded by crowds of people, not protesters, families, kids with fishing poles, parents setting up picnic blankets. There are at least 100 people down there, more arriving by the minute. What's going on? Tyler checks his phone. Social media? After your arrest got dismissed and Karen's recordings went viral, people started calling for a community healing day at the lake. They want to show support for you and reclaim the space from Karen's toxicity. It should make me happy. My community is rallying around me, showing that Karen's poison didn't work completely. Instead, I feel a familiar dread creeping up my spine. Because I know Karen Mitchell, and I know she doesn't give up this easily. A woman who would frame someone for terrorism isn't going to accept defeat gracefully. She's planning something bigger. The crowd at the lake keeps growing, and somewhere in my gut, I know this isn't celebration. This is bait. The Emergency Homeowner Association meeting is called for 7 p.m. sharp, and the community center is packed beyond capacity. Every seat is filled, people are standing along the walls, and there's an energy in the room that crackles like electricity before a storm. Karen sits at the head table looking defiant despite everything. Her lawyer whispers in her ear, but she waves him away. She's got that look in her eyes, the same one she had when she was standing waist-deep in my poisoned lake. She's not done fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, Karen begins, her voice carrying that familiar authority. Recent events have been blown completely out of proportion by the media and outside agitators. Outside agitators. That's what I am now. Yes, there were some procedural irregularities in how we handled the lake contamination issue, but the core facts remain unchanged. Dave Coleman has been a disruptive presence in our community for months. I'm sitting in the back with Tyler, watching her perform. The woman who framed me for terrorism, who bought false testimony, who turned my life into a 3-day nightmare, is now playing the victim card. I may have made errors in judgment, she continues, but everything I did was motivated by genuine concern for our community's safety and well-being. Mrs. Peterson stands up. Karen, you lied to the police. You tried to send an innocent man to prison. I acted on information I believed to be credible at the time. Marcus is sitting 3 rows ahead of me, shoulders hunched like he's trying to disappear. When someone mentions his perjured testimony, he doesn't even look up. But then Karen says something that makes my blood freeze. However, given the recent publicity and the unfortunate misunderstandings, I believe the best course of action is to transfer ownership of Clear Lake to a private environmental management company. The room explodes. Transfer ownership to who? What environmental company? You can't sell our lake. Karen raises her voice over the chaos. Blue Sky Environmental Solutions has made a generous offer to purchase the lake and surrounding property for proper remediation and management. All homeowner association members will receive compensation for the transfer. I grab Tyler's arm. She's selling my lake. Can she do that? That's when Old Man Henley, the veteran who's lived here longer than anyone, stands up with a folder in his hands. Karen, before you sell anything, maybe folks should know who really owns that lake. Karen's face goes pale. What are you talking about, Frank? I'm talking about the fact that Clear Lake was never homeowner association property to begin with. Henley waves the folder. I did some research after young Dave got arrested. That lake belongs to the county, has since 1987, when old Harold Clearwater's estate defaulted on property taxes. The room goes dead quiet. Which means, Henley continues, anyone can buy it at the next county tax auction for exactly $47,000 in back taxes. Karen is staring at Henley like he just grew a second head. That's impossible. County clerk's office confirmed it this afternoon. The lake goes to auction next Tuesday morning. First bidder with cash gets 12 acres of waterfront property. I feel something shift inside me. Not anger this time, but cold, calculating purpose. Karen poisoned my sanctuary, destroyed my reputation, tried to send me to prison, and now she wants to sell my peace of mind to some environmental company that probably doesn't exist. But she made one crucial mistake. She assumed I'd stay down after she knocked me over. Tyler, I whisper, how much money do you have in your college fund? About $15,000. Why? I'm doing quick math in my head. My savings, Tyler's fund, what I can borrow against my house. It's tight, but possible. Because I'm about to buy myself a lake. The meeting erupts into arguments about property rights and county jurisdictions. But I'm not listening anymore. I'm looking at Karen's face as she realizes that her final move just backfired spectacularly. She tried to destroy me, but instead she's about to make me the legal owner of the one thing she wanted to control most. Have you ever watched your enemy realize they've just handed you the weapon that's going to destroy them? It's beautiful. Karen's eyes find mine across the crowded room, and for the first time since this war began, she looks genuinely afraid. Because she finally understands what I learned in that jail cell. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's winning completely. Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. sharp, I'm standing outside the county clerk's office with a cashier's check for $47,000. Tyler drove down from college to be here, and old man Henley insisted on coming as my witness. The auction is supposed to be competitive, but there are only 3 people in the room. Me, a confused-looking real estate speculator who clearly doesn't know what he's bidding on, and a representative from Blue Sky Environmental Solutions. The Blue Sky guy keeps checking his phone nervously, probably waiting for instructions from Karen, who's nowhere to be seen. At Lot 47C, Clear Lake property, 12 acres, including water rights, the clerk announces. Starting bid $47,000. I raise my hand. As $48,000, says Blue Sky guy. $50,000, I counter. The real estate speculator drops out immediately. Blue Sky guy makes a few more half-hearted bids, but when I hit $60,000, he gets a phone call and suddenly has to leave. It's sold to Dave Coleman for $60,000. Just like that, I own the lake where my father's ashes rest, where I taught my son to fish, where Karen tried to destroy my life. The paperwork takes 2 hours. By the time we're done, word has somehow spread through town. When we drive back to Clear Lake, there are dozens of people waiting. Neighbors, reporters, curious onlookers. And Karen. She's standing by the shore, staring at the water like she's seeing it for the first time. When I approach, she doesn't turn around. "Congratulations," she says quietly. "You won." "Karen, I never wanted to win anything. I just wanted to fish in peace. And now you own the whole lake. You can ban me forever if you want." The old me might have done exactly that. The angry, hurt version of myself that spent 3 days in jail would have enjoyed watching Karen suffer the way she made me suffer. But sitting in that cell, listening to her voice on those recordings, I realized something important. Karen wasn't evil. She was terrified. Terrified of losing control, of not mattering, of being just another powerless person in a world that doesn't care about middle-aged women who peaked as homeowner association presidents. "I'm not banning anyone," I tell her. "This lake belongs to the community now. Everyone's welcome." She finally turns to look at me, and I see something I never expected in Karen Mitchell's eyes: gratitude. "Even me? Even you. But Karen, no more power games. No more committees deciding who gets to fish and when. This is a public lake now, open to everyone, free of charge." Tyler steps up beside me. "What about the fishing licenses, Dad? The state regulations?" We'll follow every law in the books, but beyond that, anyone who wants to cast a line or skip stones or just sit quietly by the water, they're welcome here. I pull out the deed to Clear Lake and hand it to Tyler. Son, I'm making you the lake's trustee. When I'm gone, it stays public, forever. The crowd that's gathered starts to applaud, but I'm not paying attention to them anymore. I'm looking at the water, watching the late afternoon sun turn the surface into liquid gold. Marcus appears at my elbow, looking sheepish. Dave, I know I can't undo what I did, but... Marcus, I turn to face my oldest friend. You made a mistake. We all make mistakes. Question is, what do we do next? He nods toward the lake. Think there's room for one more fisherman out there? There's always room. 6 months later, Clear Lake is busier than it's ever been. Families come for picnics, kids learn to cast lines from the new fishing pier Tyler and I built, and every morning you'll find me there at sunrise with my coffee and tackle box. Karen shows up sometimes, usually with her granddaughter, teaching the little girl to bait hooks. We nod at each other politely, like neighbors should. The viral video that almost destroyed my life is still online, but now it's mostly a curiosity, a cautionary tale about social media lynch mobs and the danger of believing everything you see on the internet. Tyler graduated college and took a job in town. Says he wants to be close to the lake, close to family. He's thinking about running for city council next year, wants to protect green spaces and community resources. I'm proud of him, but mostly I'm grateful. Grateful that I learned the difference between winning and being right, between revenge and justice, between owning something and taking care of it. Every morning when I sit by that water, I think about my father and the lessons he tried to teach me about patience, about community, about the importance of standing up for what matters without losing sight of who you are. I never did find out who sent me those recordings that saved my life. Sometimes I suspect it was Tyler hacking into Karen's phone with some college tech skills. Sometimes I think it was one of Karen's own allies who got disgusted with how far she'd gone. But honestly, it doesn't matter. What matters is this. I'm sitting by my lake, watching the sunrise, drinking coffee that tastes like peace. And anyone who wants to join me is welcome. That's not victory, that's something better. That's home.